your number one source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network. Hello and welcome to Rip Hughes Stadium tonight, where the Dothan Wolves are hosting Park Crossing of Montgomery. I'm Mick Kirkland, along with Gavin Thomas. Gavin, it's great to be back again.
Yeah, I am excited about some Friday night football. Just excited about having college football and sports back in general with pandemic kind of coming to hopefully a close soon, you know?
Yeah, and it should be a good game. We had the opportunity to see the Wolves play last weekend up in Montgomery at the AHSAA Kickoff Classic, where they took on the Bob Jones team out of the Huntsville area and played against Coach White, Kevis White, who used to coach here at Dothan. So it was an interesting game. Dothan won the game 42-32, but it really didn't count, so it was just an exhibition game. But I'll tell you what, you can look out for some exciting things from this Dothan team. You can look for number 8, Javier Jackson. He's a quarterback. He showed a lot of poise and accuracy. He's a dual threat quarterback with the ability to run and pass. He sees the field very well, and he finds his open receivers with the passes right on target. He's able to run when he's needed to, and he's just an outstanding addition to this Dothan High team. Back deep for Dothan is number 3, Blackman, and number 2, Drury. And it goes out of bounds, so it will come out to the 35-yard line. So Dothan will be starting at their own 35.
Yeah, Matt, this is great field position for Dothan here coming out in the first drive of the game. Hopefully they'll be able to get something going on offense pretty quick here.
And so Dothan will be starting on own 35, and I tell you, they got a couple of really good wide receivers. Number 3, Raymond Blackman, he has the ability to get away, and I tell you what, he took a couple of direct snaps as in the game, and one ended up as a touchdown, and one was a 4th and 1, and he picked up 39 yards for the Wolves. Then number 4 is Quentin Norton, who is an outstanding player. On my roster here it says Thomas, Octavius Thomas. So we'll try to make sure we get it right. Dothan starts on 35. They hand the ball off, and he's going to be hit at the line. That tackle was by Brandon Wilson. So it will be a 2nd and 10, no gain.
Ball carried by number 4, Thomas. No gain on the play.
That was Thomas on the carry. Jackson quick out to Thomas. He gets around the edge, and he's going to be pulled down in the backfield. No gain. Matter of fact, he loses a couple of yards.
Yeah, Park Crossing's defense did a great job of stringing the play out to the left side there and was able to get him down for a loss of yardage there. And now it's important for Dothan to get some momentum here and get some positive yardage.
Loss of 2 on the play.
So a loss of 2, so it brings up a 3rd and 12 for Dothan. Blackman's in the backfield with Jackson. Man in motion. That was Hornsby. And we have a flag. It's probably, I think it's going to be delay of game. Not the way Dothan wants to start off. They're deep in their own territory, and penalty is not what you want. Go ahead.
No, absolutely not. And if you saw there, Dothan High, they lined up, got quick to the line, and tried to draw Park Crossing off sides there. wasn't able to draw them off sides, and at that point it was just too close down to the game clock for them to snap the ball, and so unfortunately that's 5 yards back for Dothan. They've kind of stalled this drive out a little bit, but it's the first drive of the game, so you really want to get your communication right.
So it'll be 3rd and about 18 for the Wolves. We'll call it 3rd and 17.
Brings up a 3rd down and 17.
The Wolves this is their official season opening. Jackson rolls out. He finds an open receiver, and he's hit hard. That receiver was number 9, Hornsby, and big tackle, a big hit that time coming from Park Crossing. So Dothan will go 3 and out. Not the way they wanted to start this game, but hey, first game, trying to get things going.
No, definitely not what you want to do to start the game with coming out. Here's the punt team coming back out here. But I will say, we saw some really good things from that quarterback there rolling out. And I think you're going to see him on the run and on the move. I think that's important to get him comfortable on the move and, able to see him throw on the move also, which is important.
So it brings up 4th down, and Dothan will be punting. And it's a high punt, but doesn't travel very far.
Yeah, man, it looks like Park Crossing is going to have a good bit of a good field position here coming out on their first drive. Looking forward to seeing what this Dothan defense has to offer this year.
Park Crossing starting on their own 39-yard line. Excellent starting field position. And we have a whistle. And we'll see what the call is.
Yeah, it looks like the refs just weren't ready for them to snap the ball yet, Mitt.
Okay. Rowe is the quarterback for Park Crossing. The Thunderbirds. They hand the ball off, and it gets around the corner and out of bounds at about the 42. And that was number 20. Starter. He's a sophomore, so a gain of 2, so it brings up a 2nd and 8. And a bad snap. The quarterback is being pursued, and he's going to be sacked by number 97 of the Wolves. And number 97 is Hosea Hills. He's a nose guard, 6 feet, 310 pounds, and powerful.
Woo, yeah, that's a big boy up there. We're going to need to have him play a great game today. That was a great job by the Dothan defense to barrel down on defense there. Saw the ball hit the ground and attacked the ball, and that's what you got to do in that situation.
3rd and 13 from the 41-yard line. Handoff, and nowhere to go. The Wolves in there again. In on that tackle, number 5, James Downey.
Big number 97 again in there on help on the tackle there. I believe we're going to call his name out a couple of times here tonight, Mitt. I'm excited to see that Dothan Wolf defense play really great on that drive.
Back deep for Dothan's number 9, Braxton Hornsby. Punt up. And Dothan moves away from it, and he gets a good roll down to the 30-yard line. So Dothan will be starting on their own 30. We hope they can get something going this drive. Last drive, they kind of putted out very soon, made a couple of mistakes, and
Wolves will take
and it
possession
cost them.
of the
So
ball.
they're starting at their own 30, and we have 7:39 left in the first. We're midway through the first.
Yeah, this game is going by pretty quick here. Hope to see Dothan really get something going on the ground game. We stretched it out the last drive. Let's see if we can do something up in the middle and middle of the zone.
Hand the ball off, and I tell you what, Park Crossing has been swarming Dothan tonight. That was Thomas. And nothing there for Thomas. He actually loses a couple of yards. Dothan's going in the wrong direction. That was a loss of about 5. The ball back at the 25-yard line. We were talking earlier when we first got to the stadium. The field looks really great, Gavin.
Yes, it looks real nice. You even mentioned that it kind of looks like turf out there, which is nice, and it looks really good. Excited about the renovations that they've made here at Rippey Stadium, and I'm sure we'll talk about that kind of moving forward through this game.
So it'll be 2nd and 15 for the Wolves. Jackson, boy, they are all over them. The offensive line has got to do a better job of protecting. So that was another big loss back to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, man, they're coming
to the
from
15. Excuse me.
They're coming from every direction. I mean, if you look at it, they're definitely keeping contain on the outside, and they're also bringing the inside blitz also. So, if you're Dothan, you've got to realize that they're blitzing on every play, and look for a screen here, 3rd and 25. This is where you usually would see a drop back screen.
6:43 left in the opening period. Jackson keeps it, and he gets back to the 20, a gain of 5, but Dothan still needs 20. So it brings up a 4th and 20.
Offensive line has got to come back and check the video out and see what they can do.
The offensive line did a great job last week. I was very impressed with them. Boy, another punt that goes straight up, and it takes a Park Crossing bounce, and it's out at about the 33-yard line of Dothan. Park Crossing with excellent starting field position. They're at the Dothan 33-yard line after they defensively biked Dothan up, and Dothan had a poor punt, and it really put them in great position, but the handoff is not good, and the defense swarms, and it looks like it's going to be a loss of about 7.
Man, that defense is ready to go. They're fired up. They're ready to play here on this Friday night. It's a beautiful night to play football, and that defense is ready. Looked like an inside blitz, and they were able to get to the quarterback pretty quick there.
That's a loss of about 6, so it brings up a 2nd and 16. The ball back at the 39-yard line. Quarterback rolls out, and as soon as the receiver catches the ball, he's taken down by number 24 for Dothan. That's Cooper. Good pursuit that time by Cooper.
Yeah, it's tough to get over there on the outside. They're really trying to stretch out that Dothan defense. They're being really fast on the inside. That defensive line is doing a great job of pressing and pushing that offensive line off the ball. And they're trying to spread them out, and it's not working. I mean, that Dothan defense is ready.
No gain on the play, so still a 3rd and 16. And quarterback is going to be sacked again. And on that tackle, number 6, Ty Martin.
Wow, Mitt, if you just think about where this drive started, I mean, it started on the 30-yard line, Mitt, and now you've got this defense to come out hungry and has taken them out of field goal position, taking them out of scoring position here, and they're going to have to punt the ball. What a great job by that defense.
That really was. I tell you what, the defense bailed the offense out on that one.
Yes. And now it's the offense turn to get out here and answer.
Back deep is Hornsby. Punt up, and it rolls, and it's down at the 15-yard line. So both teams have had the ball twice, and both teams have punted. A great defensive stand, as you said, by the Wolves defense. And, you know, just looking from the game last week, it seemed like it was the opposite, where the offense was, I mean, they were rolling. And I think once they get some momentum going, they haven't been able to get it. And it's because Park Crossing has done a good job of collapsing the offensive line of Dothan and not giving any plays time to develop. So we'll see what happens here as Dothan start on their own 15. First and 10. Hand off, and he moves forward for a couple of yards.
Yeah, just like you talked about, Mitt, it's really important to go ahead and get that first down. It's just like when you talk about basketball. That basketball player needs to see the ball go in the hoop. And this is exactly the same thing in football. You want to see that first down.
2nd and 9. Pass. Oh, wow. He was open. It would have been first down. That pass was intended for Raymond Blackman, so it's incomplete. It brings up a 3rd and 9.
That brings up a 3rd down and 9 for the Wolves.
So the Wolves would have had that first down. The pass was just a little low. Pass, pick 6. It's picked off, and turnover. That's something Dothan didn't do. So interception.
Yeah, you know, we talked about that, Mitt, maybe even yesterday when we were, you know, thinking about this game, and we were talking about turnovers being a pivotal point in the season, and we were talking about how last game there was no turnovers, and Dothan did a great job of not turning the ball over. And here, man, the quarterback just looks a little bit gun-shy of letting go of the ball, and you can't be gun-shy and stare down your receiver like he did there. Not a slant play that, you know, usually will work, but you can't stare down your receiver.
Extra point is good, so the defense has scored for Park Crossing, and they go up by a score of 7-0. I guess the extra point was good. Yeah, it was good. So Park Crossing 7, Dothan nothing. Dothan is just haven't been able to get anything going so far offensively, and you know we've got to try to get something going on. This is a very important drive for Dothan's confidence. The ball is taken at the 11, and he gets across the 30. 40, and he breaks a tackle. A great return that time by number 3, Raymond Blackman, and we talked about him. Blackman is an explosive player.
Yes, absolutely. He was going pretty fast there. Made a couple of moves there against the Park Crossing players there, and we see someone kind of a little gimpy getting up. Maybe the kicker looks like.
Yeah, and talking about the last game when Dothan played, Blackman, he's a wide receiver, but like I say, he has the ability to do a lot of other things. And he took a direct snap for a touchdown in the game, and he also took a direct snap on 4th and 1, and he goes for 39 yards. So he's an explosive player, and that's what it's going to take. Dothan needs a few explosive plays. So Dothan with great starting field position, the best starting field position of the night on really about a 40-yard return by Blackman. Dothan hands the ball off to number 4, and he's not much there. 4 is Thomas. So Park Crossing is still, they're really doing a good job defensively.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the defense of the Wolves here doing a really great job of stopping the Park Crossing offense, but really the Park Crossing defense is doing just as good against this Dothan offense.
So it's a 2nd and 10, no gain on the play. He goes deep. He's got a man open, and he overthrows him. Wow, he was wide open. That was number 9. Hornsby was wide open, and Jackson just overthrew him.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Dothan. He was wide open down the stream there, and I tell you what, we talked about the offensive line there, the last drive. They did a great job protecting for Dothan there, and he had plenty of time to step into the throw, and he just needs a little bit of air on it so the wide receiver can run up underneath it.
Yeah, he was hitting those last week. I mean, he was throwing it right on the money, right in stride. So, just kind of, we're going to stay with you here, and I'm just kind of going to tell you a few things about from last week's game. I think what the announcer last week kept saying number 4 was Norton, but evidently number 4 is Thomas. So all the things I said about Norton is actually Thomas. Okay, so just kind of recapping some other things. Number 5, Peterson, he's a powerful. He's another impressive runner for the Wolves in the Wolves backfield. Number 2, Drury is a speedy wide receiver with good hands. He has the ability to separate from the defensive back, and make big plays. So he had a touchdown in that game. So there are some playmakers. Dothan just gotta get more focused and get the timing down, and that way they can actually get this thing going. If looking this game, the only score has been made by the defense.
Yeah, Mitt, the defense is definitely taking advantage here in this game, and the offense, both offenses have kind of looked a little sluggish. But Mitt, you got to think about it. It's the second game of the season. Again, last week we know that was just an exhibition game, but it was a great practice for Dothan here. Looking to see what they can do here on offense.
So it brings up a 3rd and 10 for the Wolves. Jackson. He's being pursued. He breaks a tackle, and we have a flag. And boy, he takes the official out, and we have a flag. It's probably going to be holding.
Yeah, we got a couple of flags there. Definitely looks like in the area of holding for sure.
Yes, it probably is. Holding Dothan.
Man, that ref's got to watch out, Mitt. He's got to get out of the way a little quicker than that.
Yeah. There's a lot of speed out on the field.
Yeah.
So that will back Dothan up.
Good to see the ref just get back up right away there, because, man, you know us. Our knees are not as good as their knees out there.
Yeah. So it was 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and that was, whoa. Dothan's back to the 30-yard line, and they have to get to the 40 on the other side. So they have to go 30 yards to get a first down.
Man.
So it'll be 3rd and 30.
We don't have a statistician up here, but I can tell you pretty much that's at least 45 yards of penalties at least for Dothan here starting in this first quarter.
And that's what really was a drawback for them in the game last week. They had one drive, and they had 5 penalties on that drive, and 3 of them were offside penalties. And then they had a couple of other ones. So that's something they've got to cut down on, these penalties, because they're really hurting themselves.
Number 3, Brandon Blackman.
So Dothan will have to punt for the 4th time. Well, no, 3rd time. They threw an interception for a touchdown the last drive.
Fourth down and 30.
Boy, that punt. Wow, they're struggling. The punt is struggling tonight.
Yeah, it's tough for a punter when you see the guys coming at you from the other side as fast as possible. You just get a little antsy, and you can't really put your foot into it, and the deceleration of the leg. And now we're getting to a little bit of physics lesson, Mitt.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just got to be confident. Take the time, as much time as you can, and get the ball off of your foot. as quick as possible.
So Park Crossing starts in Dothan territory again. Looked like I was going to say we had some movement up front.
The flags on the field.
Man, that Park Crossing offensive line is having a pretty tough time defending the Dothan Wolves there on the line.
Both teams' offensive lines are having a hard time. Both teams defensively are looking really good, but offensively both are struggling. So it'll be a 1st and 15, the ball back near the 50-yard line. And a pitch back and nowhere to go. Dothan has really done a good job of containing the run, you know, and keeping Park Crossing from getting outside.
Yeah, the defense is doing a great job of stretching the ball out when they're trying to stretch it out on us to the right or the left. There you had a pitch play, which was a little scary for Park Crossing there. That pitch was a little behind the running back, but the running back was able to snag it out of the air and at least not turn the ball over.
So it brings up a 2nd and 15. Quarterback rolls out, and he just turns loose. Boy, he's leveled.
Yeah, that is what you call a form. Oh, no.
Oh, wow. Come on now.
Well, you know, you hate to see that, Mick, because that was a great play by number 2 there for the defense of the Dothan Wolves. But, you know, you just can't have those silly penalties like that.
No, you can't. And
we had quite a few of those last year. Okay.
Oh, intent to the ground. Okay,
right,
yeah.
Well, I
okay.
was wrong.
Yeah. Okay, there wasn't a receiver anywhere around, and I don't think the ball did it make it back to the? I don't think it made it to the line of scrimmage. The ball didn't. So,
yeah,
wow.
that's a great call. I thought for sure we were going to get some type of taunting penalty on us there. 2 came up really excited there, which, you know, I'm excited to see that type of effort and the excitement there. So excited to see this Dothan defense again come out here hungry and really, man, paying off this offense that's not doing so hot right now.
I'm just going to say extremely long. They fumbled the ball, and did Dothan get it?
Oh, yes, I believe they did.
Fumble, and Dothan recovers it deep in there in Park Crossing territory, and that's the break Dothan needed.
That's exactly right, Mitt. Did a great job. Again, we talked about this defense just being ferocious, and that's exactly what they were on that play right there. Was able to get to the quarterback. You see him kind of gimpy a little bit there, and they have he's got some licks tonight already, and this is 20 seconds left in the first quarter.
Right, he has taken some hits. Number 18 is the quarterback for Park Crossing. Let me get his name. Rowe. I believe that's the way it's pronounced. 1st and 10, Dothan. Jackson and a flag. Wow.
Yeah, that's tough right there. You know, Dothan was really looking for a big play there right off the turnover, and really just couldn't get set on the offensive line there, and now you're backed up 5 yards. And I think we've seen almost every drive there's been at least one penalty, I believe, for Dothan, Mitt.
Right, and it's kind of like I said, last week they made quite a few, but not offensively. They committed a lot of penalties defensively, because last week they were like a well-oiled machine offensively, and they just haven't been able to do it tonight. Goes deep, wide open. Oh, wow, off the fingertips of number 2. That was Dury. That would have been 6 points there. Just a little off 2 times.
So, you know, the last ball that he threw like that, you know, I told him to put a little bit more air on it, and he did it. I mean, he listened. But unfortunately, being on the 30-yard line is very different than being on the 40. And so put a little bit too much air on it that time and was not able to get the touchdown.
So it's a 2nd and 15.
I'd go back to it, Mitt.
That is not working tonight because the Park Crossing has a lot of speed defensively. That was the quick out over to Blackman.
Yeah, man, it's obvious, though, the cornerbacks are having a hard time keeping up with these receivers of the Dothan Wolves. They are quick.
Yeah, so we're at the end of the first. So at the end of one, the score is Park Crossing 7, Dothan nothing. We'll be back with the second quarter of action after this timeout. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Lewis Smith Supply is dedicated to offering a vast collection of fixtures, faucets, and accessories for your kitchen and bath. Make your dreams a reality. Step into the area's only Kohler Premier Showroom or see Delta's Brizo collection for the latest trends in kitchen and bathroom designs. Lewis Smith Supply offers an extensive line of plumbing supplies for contractors or do-it-yourselfers. For more inspiration, come visit one of our showrooms in Dothan or Enterprise.
Your number one source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Between the Dothan Wolves and the Thunderbirds of Park Crossing up Montgomery. Park Crossing's leading by a score of 7-0. Dothan just really hasn't been able to get anything going. Park Crossing only score came on a pick 6 in the defense score, but both teams offensively have really not been able to get anything going, but defensively, both teams have looked superb.
We broke down in 17.
I'm really going to be surprised if they go for it here on 4th and 17, but it looks like they may be ready to go for it.
Well, they're deep in they're in their own territory. So they figure, the way the punting game has gone so far, it's probably a good risk, to just go for it on.
Yeah, it looks
down.
like Park Crossing didn't really like what they saw there. Maybe they were thinking that they were going to punt, but Dothan kept the offense out and, burning that time out there for Park Crossing may come back to bite them.
While we're sitting here, I want to remind you about Scenic's YouTube channel. We have a new YouTube channel. It's been up for a little over a year. And just go to Scenic Sports Network. Go to YouTube and type in Scenic Sports Network. And we have over 260 games on there. We started in 2001. So we have games over the past 20 years, football and basketball games during that time. So some of the players out here, parents will probably play back then, but some outstanding games. So, and go to Scenic Sports Network on YouTube and make sure you hit the subscribe button, because if you subscribe, what happens is anytime there's new content loaded onto our YouTube channel, you get a notification. Make sure you subscribe and hit notifications so that when new content is on, you will be notified. And we put up new content every week. So this game will be available. It will be on TV, plus it will be available on demand on YouTube. So it's a 4th and 20, 4th and 17, they're going to say. Jackson is being chased out of the pocket, and the pass is complete, but it's going to be well short of the first down. So Dothan turns it over on downs.
Yeah, Dothan did a good job right there. Just looks like they came with an inside blitz from the safety position, and the quarterback did a great job of getting rid of the ball, getting rid of that defender, and then getting rid of the ball. Just unfortunately, with 4th and 20, a 10-yard gain is not going to get you the first down.
So we're hoping that Dothan can get something going here. And while we're changing possession, the field looks really good. The new lighting system looks great. It looks like daylight out there.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching an HD movie at the moment because the lights are looking so good. And if you can tell, I don't know if you can tell on the broadcast, but there's a little bit of a red tint to it, you know, for the Wolves there. So it's nice.
So it's a 1st and 10, the ball at the 30. Hand it off and take it out to the 35. That was number 26 for Park Crossing, which I don't have a 26 on my roster. So we won't know who that is. So it brings up a 2nd and 5, a gain of 5. That was probably the biggest game for Park Crossing all night offensively. They give it to number 26 again. He gets around the corner, and he's hit short of the, it's going to be close to a first down, but I think he may be
he's going to be shy of that first down marker there. This is a big 3rd down for our defense, and we talked about it all night as the defense has been the strong point for the Wolves here. So let's see if we can get a 3rd down stand here.
Well, they've been on the field all night. And so the offense has not been able to put together any kind of a drive, sustain any kind of a drive so that they can give the defense some rest.
Looks like a quarterback sneak, maybe. Mitt.
There's a flag.
You know, that's one thing you don't really see in high school football a lot is the quarterback sneak. And one of the reasons why is because you have to really be able to communicate when you're doing a quarterback sneak like that. And right there you see where there's motion in the backfield. It's kind of hard to execute in high school, honestly.
So it's a penalty called against Park Crossing, so that backs him up 5. So to bring up a 3rd and 6. Number 20 takes, he gets it outside. He's got some running room, and that is the biggest offensive play of the night so far for Park Crossing. That was Andre Stoddard.
Great play call by the Park Crossing coaching staff there. Looks like they drew it up real nice, was able to pick out where the blitz was coming from on the outside and ran it right there to the blitz. And that's when you can pick up a good bit of yardage there because nobody's there to contain.
So it's a 1st and 10. The ball on the Dothan side of the field, the 48-yard line. This drive started on the Park Crossing 30-yard line. And they found something that's working for them in Stoddard. He picks up about, well, they're going to give him about 3. So it's a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, Mitt, you alluded to it earlier. I think you're seeing a little bit of fatigue for this defense since they've been on the field for much of the first quarter and now here pretty much all of the second quarter too. You're seeing a little bit of hands on the knees, so you're seeing a little bit of fatigue here.
Whoa.
Wow.
That time, they were ready for it.
Number 97 there.
Yeah, number 97. That is our man, the big man, 97, Jose Hills. Jose Hill.
We have mentioned him a couple of times tonight, Mitt. He got through that line quick.
He's quick, and that's one of the notes I had on. One of the things I had on my notes is his speed and power.
I am impressed with how quick he can move those feet with what he's got working with.
310 pounds.
You may see that one on a highlight film there. That was impressive, Mitt.
So it brings up a second and 12.
Second down and 12.
Oh, he's knocked down in the backfield. That time, number 20.
Yeah, looks like he kind of ran into his own guy there. That's unfortunate for Park Crossing because it did look like he had a little bit of room there to run, but fortunate for the Wolves that he ran into his own guy and fell down for a loss of yards.
So it brings up a third and it looks like about 17. So this is a big third down for the Wolves. They need to get Park Crossing off the field, and they need to get something offensively. Not much there. Good pursuit by the Wolves. In on that tackle for the Wolves, I saw number 8 for the Wolves. Is Dumas Moore. So it brings up a fourth down. They'll be punting. And a good defensive series for Dothan. By D for Dothan is Braxton Hornsby. So Dothan does a good job of stopping that drive. And so Park Crossing had to punt, and Dothan will be starting at their own 26. First and 10, and they need to take some clock and give the defense time to rest.
Yeah, this drive is really important just to give the defense some rest, like you alluded to.
And they've got to make them. They've had a couple opportunities for big plays, and they have not made them. And so tackle for loss.
Offensive line still having some problems. Looks like a little bit of communication issue, you know. With the offensive line, you really got to be able to be on the same page. And here in the second game, you're looking at, you know, maybe the left guard doesn't know exactly where that right guard's going to be and where that, you know, it's just communication at this point.
Second and 12. Nothing there. I'll tell you what, they're just crowding the line of scrimmage. Dothan needs to get something. They've got to get something down the field to loosen up that defense. They've got to make a play because all they're doing is stacking the line of scrimmage. They don't feel any threat from Dothan.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying there because you've got Park Crossing right now putting 8 in the box.
And all it takes is one or two big plays, and I tell you what, that'll change the whole philosophy of that defense. And Jackson was excellent last week. And another tackle for a loss, a sack. So 3 and out. Dothan has been going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. So it's 4th down. They're definitely going to have to make some adjustments at halftime. So timeout on the field with 5:37 left in the first half. Park Crossing leads Dothan 7-0. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network. Drive stalls again, and so they'll have to punt. And so far tonight, the special teams haven't done a very good job, so they've got to try to get things together.
Yeah, man, I'd be really careful here. It looks like Park Crossing is going to come after this ball pretty quick.
He gets off a good punt.
Yeah, Mitt, but it looks like we are going to catch a break here.
Right.
There is going to be a personal foul, roughing the kicker, it looks like. They've come close a couple of times this game because they're really barreling after that kicker on the punt formation. And so this time it really worked out for the Wolves. Thankfully, the punter's okay because he got drilled.
Yeah, that's Adam Watford is the punter. So Dothan that should be an automatic first down.
This is going to give Dothan a second chance here. I mean, you've got to capitalize whenever the team gives you a break like that. This is the time where the offense has to capitalize, in my opinion.
They've got to start mixing things up offensively. They've got to mix them up. Right now they're very predictable. The things they're doing is they're trying to run up the middle, and then they tried a couple little short passes in the backfield. They've got to get away from that because Park Crossing is really snuffed it out. They've got that down. All they need is one completion downfield, and it will change the whole complexity of this game. 1st and 10, so Dothan, okay. So Dothan will be starting from there. Well, that's a continuation of the last. Wow. And we have a flag. So I think it's going to be pass interference.
Yeah, it looks like it. That was a nice little slant play right there by number 3 for Dothan, Raymond Blackman there. Did a great job on the slant play and got underneath the defender, and number 6 got in just a little early.
Yeah, pass interference. So that will move the ball in, near the 50-yard line. So Dothan's got 2 breaks here, okay? 2 breaks on this drive. So let's make something out of it. So the ball's at the 49-yard line, and same play, which hasn't worked for them at all tonight. Didn't I just say that?
Well, I don't think they can hear you, Mitt. I think if they did, they may not have ran that play. But, again, Dothan's trying to get the quick outs. I think that has a lot to do with the quarterback not really having a lot of time in the pocket. They're seeing that the offensive line is having a tough time, protecting that quarterback, and they're really wanting to get the ball out, quick. Like I like to say, the Tom Brady approach. Get the ball out quick.
What they did, they did direct snap a couple of times. And there you go, and across the 50 down to about the 49-yard line. So,
yeah, and just like you had just talked about, a direct snap looked like a wildcat formation there with Raymond Blackwell. And, it's just something that, like you said, kind of mixing it up, Yeah,
and Blackman had he had a touchdown and a 39-yard run on direct snaps in the game against Bob Jones. There he goes again, and he gets it inside the 45 to about the 43.
It's good to see that the Wolves coaching staff, saw kind of what we saw, that maybe the things that they were doing and the game plan that came in maybe just wasn't working, and they had kind of snuffed it out like you had talked about. Nice to see something different here.
So it's a 4th and short, and I think Dothan moved. Yeah, number 59 jumped.
Yeah, it's tough for the Wolves. That was 4th and 3. Now you're back 5 more yards. Looks like the punting team's going to come out here. We talked about it. You got to capitalize whenever they give you yardage like that, and just wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, so they're going to punt. Wow, they had opportunity. But one thing that was accomplished, the defense got a chance to get some rest.
The defense got
rest.
Some much-needed rest there, man. And another thing, we haven't talked about is they're only down 7-0. This game is definitely in reach. We just got to see some momentum from our offense.
A good high punt. I think the punter is feeling more. It hits him. And Dothan covers. Oh, wow. I thought Dothan recovered. But, wow.
Yeah, that was really close there. It looks like it was fortunate for Park Crossing. They hit his knees, it looked like. Went straight down into the ground after it hit his knees, and he fell on it. That was
Yeah, what Dothan needs here is a defensive play. They need a turnover. They need to force a turnover. And
Well, Mitt, if I'm not mistaken, this is exactly where Dothan actually threw their pick six back in the first quarter.
So we're going to pay them back, okay? We're going to have a pick six. Now, you remember last year, I would call something, it would happen.
That's right, you would. I'm hoping that you're right this time because we need it.
Hey, but it's not a full moon tonight.
Well, with these lights, you'd never know it, you know?
It is as bright as if it was a full moon. Nowhere, a gain of maybe a yard. They keep going to Stoddard, and he picks up maybe a yard. So to bring up 2nd and 9, we're down to 3:17 left in the first half. Park Crossing leading 7-0 over the Wolves of Dothan.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Dothan, the only first downs they've gotten have been by penalties. Am I correct?
Yes, I believe you are correct. And it looks like that Park Crossing is going to kind of change it up here. Their starting quarterback went to the bench there, and maybe another quarterback coming in for Park Crossing here.
Boy, he spins out of that one. But he didn't get very far. He picked up a couple of yards. Good pursuit by the Wolves.
Yeah, but the Wolves better make a note of that in their head because whenever that backup quarterback number 7 comes in, you better be ready because he is going to run. That is a fast athlete.
Terry Ware is who it is. He's a running back.
Well, that makes sense because he's quick.
Yeah. So
that spin move was nice.
Yeah. And while we have a timeout, I want to remind you again about our YouTube channel. Just go to Scenic Sports Network, SCEINIC Sports Network on YouTube. Just put that in the search on YouTube, and it will take you directly to our YouTube channel where we have over 250 high school football and basketball and college, local college games over the past 20 years on there. So go on to our YouTube channel and make sure you hit the subscribe button. Subscribe and hit the notification button. So whenever we upload new content, you will get a notification that new content has been loaded. So you'll be able to go on and see games, like I say, from as far back as 20 years ago, and a lot of Dothan Northview classics, a lot of Houston Academy Providence classics, and just other teams from around the area. So go to our YouTube channel, Scenic Sports Network on YouTube. And a fumble, they're getting a little careless with the ball down there, and we want them to get careless. It's 4th down.
Timeout Wolves.
And so the Wolves call a timeout with 2:26 left, and the ball is back on the, the 11-yard line.
Yeah, Matt, you were talking earlier about the YouTube channel. Man, I really enjoyed going back and watching those games. You know, Larry Bracken back in the day, man, he was a stud. There's a couple more that I can think about, back in the day that's so much fun just to go back and watch. But also, if you're out there and you're watching this broadcast and you may not be a football player, see, I may not have suited up on the football field, but I did suit up on that band march in the band at Dothan High, and you can also go back and watch the halftime performances of the bands are also on there. So not just football, not just sports, you can also go back and watch the band stuff as well. And so we definitely we love to see that.
And we also have some other things on there. We have the Dixie Youth World Series when it was in Dothan.
All right.
The Ponytails played. It was girls playing, but it was it's just a lot of things. I really enjoy going back and looking at them, and I upload a lot of the games, so it's fun. It's fun because matter of fact, I know one of the players that used to play on Dothan High's team played on Dothan High's football and basketball team when they went to the state finals in 2001. Adrian Former, where Adrian's son played with Dothan High the last few years.
Right.
And he was an outstanding basketball and football player for Dothan. So we've got 2 generations.
I'm sure you got more than 2 generations, but yeah, that's one you know about for sure.
So Dothan starting on the Park Crossing
Up.
Park Cross.
Oh, there he goes!
What a run. That was number 2 for Dothan. Jury.
All right, man, we get to see these lights. They are lighting it up here at Riphew Stadium. What an amazing run there. Man, this is exciting. I know that I know the audience is having a great time with these lights right now. What an awesome thing to do with these renovations here.
So Dothan finally scores with 2:07 left in the first half on a 31-yard run by Dury.
Man.
Extra points up and good, so we're tied at 7 apiece. I tell you what, Dury hit that hole. What do you think of that?
Man, that was an explosive run there. Again, we've talked about it. They mixed it up there and, brought in the Wildcat offense instead of, bringing our starting quarterback out there, and it really changed up the game. And I'm excited to see that kind of moving forward into the second half here, and just glad that Dothan was able to get some points on the board before the half was over.
Well, and that's what you want to do, is get some momentum going into halftime, especially offensively. They have struggled all night on offense, but they played outstanding defensively. Both teams have. But Dothan had just not been able to get anything going. But that time they did exactly what they needed to do, handing the ball off to where Jury takes it for 31 yards. And he's actually let's see, is Jury he's a wide, well, no, he's a wide receiver.
He is a wide receiver.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been the guy that the quarterback there has been looking for on those long balls that he's been throwing. He's explosive. I mean, he's got some speed on him. I look to see big things from Dury this season.
Yeah. So he had an outstanding game last week against Bob Jones. So Dothan scores 2:07 left in the first half, and we got to see the new lights here.
Yes, we did, a couple of times actually.
So that's exciting to see their new improvements here at the stadium, and they have a lot of them in progress, and they didn't have time to get all of them taken care of this summer. Ball is taken on the 10. Woo! And boy, that was a big hit that time. Move on over. That was number 14 for Dothan on that
he
that
lit
hit.
him up on that play, Mitt.
That was Matthew Turner. Well, let's see. Well, I'm not sure, because let's see, 14. It was either Conley or Turner.
14.
Let's see. I'm not sure. We'll call both of them then. Okay. Mike said it was Conley. Okay, we're going to go with Conley.
All right, that's what we'll go with.
So
Final answer.
Okay, so Park Cross is starting their own 22. And in the backfield with the tackle, it's Say Henry.
Man, that was impressive. He shot through that gap pretty quick there.
Hey, and Zay Henry is a linebacker, and he's already signed with Southern Miss. He's a Southern Miss commit.
Oh, very nice. Well, Southern Miss is going to like what they saw there, because they could use that.
2nd and 13. .123 left in the first half. And they give it to number 20 again. He's hit in the backfield, but he spins around, and he doesn't get much. He just gets back past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, man, it looks like we got some movement on the offensive line again, which will help the Dothan Wolves for sure, because it's going to stop the clock, and the clock is not on your side if you're the Wolves. You would like to see this defense stop this Park Crossing's offense and maybe get the ball back and try to see what they can do with that Wildcat formation again.
I'll tell you what, last week they would score like nothing. I mean, you give them a minute and a half, that's like giving them a lifetime, because they could take it and they can make the big plays, and didn't take them long. So we'll see if they start to develop this in this game. The officials are still discussing the penalty. It's third down. Dothan may decline the penalty. Well, I see the Dothan players pointing toward Park Crossing. I don't know what's taking so long.
It's coming off the parking lot.
So, okay, it's against Park Crossing. So, we'll back them up and inside the 10-yard line. So this is, Dothan has an opportunity to really put some defensive pressure on them and maybe force a turnover. .113 left in the first half. We're tied at 7 apiece, Dothan and Park Crossing.
Yeah, if you're Dothan here, Mitt, you just want to stop this this offensive drive here so that you can see if you can get this ball back and make some things happen on offense.
So it will be 2nd and 24. They're trying to draw Dothan offside.
Man, look at that pursuit.
Speed. That was number 7 for Dothan, Elijah Swain. We called his name. And there's a flag on the play.
Not seeing the flag. Oh, wow. Okay, it's all the way back here on this back side down here.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of an interesting place. It looks like that would be in the a little sideline warning action.
Okay. All right, yeah.
But that's not going to make it where they're going to get a first down here. Man, they've really pushed him back all the way in the back of the end zone here.
Right. The ball's on the 4-yard line. I was talking about Elijah Swain, number 7. He had an interception and returned it 30 yards. He also had a touchdown-saving pass breakup in the game against Bob Jones. So 45 seconds left in the first half. We're tied at 7 apiece. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network. So it's a 3rd and they're going to say 3rd and 24. The ball's at the 4-yard line.
Yeah, that was an important timeout for Dothan there because the clock won't run on the start of the ball. So
nothing there. A whole pack of wolves in on that one.
Yeah, a little bit of a rugby scrum there.
Yeah, and that was Dowdy comes out of the pile with the ball, but they're going to say he was down.
Unfortunately, Dothan doesn't have a timeout. They can't stop the clock here, and it's winding down now to 17 seconds.
I think Park Crossing would just let the clock run out.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Unfortunately, Dothan wasn't able to get a shot there right before the half, but we tied it up, and that's really all that matters.
So we've come to halftime, and the score is the Dothan Wolves 7, the Park Crossing Thunderbirds 7. We'll be back with halftime action after this time out. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Lewis Smith Supply is dedicated to offering a vast collection of fixtures, faucets, and accessories for your kitchen and bath. Make your dreams a reality. Step into the area's only Kohler Premier Showroom or see Delta's Brizo collection for the latest trends in kitchen and bathroom designs. Lewis Smith Supply offers an extensive line of plumbing supplies for contractors or do-it-yourselfers. For more inspiration, come visit one of our showrooms in Dothan or Enterprise.
#1 source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of the Wolf Pack, the Dothan High School Marching Band.
Lewis Smith Supply is dedicated to offering a vast collection of fixtures, faucets, and accessories for your kitchen and bath. Make your dreams a reality. Step into the area's only Kohler Premier showroom or see Delta's Brizo collection for the latest trends in kitchen and bathroom designs. Lewis Smith Supply offers an extensive line of plumbing supplies for contractors or do-it-yourselfers. For more inspiration, come visit one of our showrooms in Dothan or Enterprise.
Your number one source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Hello and welcome back to Rip Hughes Stadium, where the Dothan Wolves are hosting the Thunderbirds of Park Crossing in Montgomery. I'm Mick Kirk along with Gavin Thomas. Gavin, good to have you here for the second half. First half, it was mostly defensive battle.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely one on the defensive side of the ball. There was one great play by Dothan for Dury getting loose there and getting it into the end zone, which was great for Dothan there right before the half ended.
Yeah, so the first score came on a interception by Park Crossing on the Dothan 15, on Dothan's own 15-yard line. It was a pick six, and they go up 7-0 with 3:10 left in the first. The only other score came in the second quarter, with 2:07 left, when Dury takes a direct snap, and he takes it 31 yards for the TD and breaks a couple of tackles in the process.
Yeah, that was a great catch and great run.
So it'll be 1st and 10. And this will be the beginning of the third quarter.
Man, if you're Dothan, you're just hoping that this defense comes out and plays exactly like they played really in the first half. I mean, they were dominant.
And we saw a lot of speed. This Dothan team has a lot of they drew them offside. Did we have motion? I think it was Dothan.
I believe it was Dothan. Yeah, it definitely was Dothan. And basically what Park Crossing did is they used that dominance, that hungry mentality that Dothan's kind of came out with to their advantage there, and got them to cross the line.
And that was a problem earlier in the game for Dothan against Bob Jones. They had 3 offsides in one series of plays. And they did it again. They've been watching. Evidently, they studied the film.
They definitely studied the film at halftime, and again, just using some of that.
That time it was against Park Crossing.
Okay.
So that neutralized it. So
well, we'll just start over. We'll just start over where we started at the beginning of the half there. But you can definitely see exactly like you said. They're making some adjustments here. They realized that Dothan's defense was getting off the ball real quick, and they're wanting to change up the cadence.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 29. He breaks a tackle. Well, he was down. His knee was down. Wow, that was.
It's fortunate for Dothan that his knee went down there. Great job by the Dothan defense. I can't exactly, maybe 24 there on the outside for Dothan. And he basically just got around the receiver there and was able to get to the running back.
That was Solomon Beebe that was carrying the ball. So a loss of about 5. So it brings up a 2nd and 15. For the Thunderbirds. handed off to number 2, and he takes it across the line of scrimmage, and he gets back past the original line of scrimmage. He's up to the 31-yard line. So it will bring up a 3rd and 9. So it brings up a 3rd and 9. So Dothan need to get them 3 and out here and try to get the offense back on the field.
Boy, that speed again.
Right. But I tell you what, number 2, you hit him, that's Cedric Tail, and he keeps moving. He's good at spinning out of tackles, but there were too many wolves there to spin out of.
Yeah, you can't really spin out of a pack of wolves. Maybe one wolf you can, but a pack of wolves is a little harder to spin out of.
So
Dothan did a great job there. They did their job on defense, and now we're able maybe to get the ball back into our offensive hands. And I'm hoping to see a little bit more wildcat, just like we saw there at the end of the half. Don't fix what's not broke there. Ooh.
Oh, flag.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, flag. Yeah, roughing the kicker. So Dothan was about to get him off the field. Now they give Park Crossing another opportunity. Yeah, that's something you can't afford to do. If you got them backed up like that, don't go for a lead. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's tough. Is it running into the kicker, or is it
I think it's
15? It looked like it was 5 yards and not
running
15, which is a big break for. It is a big break for Dothan there. It's going to be 4th down, but it looks like Park Crossing. It's not. Hold on.
Yeah,
we should. It's definitely 4th down. They did change it.
Down. They're going to go for it.
And it looks like they are going to go for it here. So Dothan's just got to really dig in here and get a stop on it.
And they're going to try to draw Dothan offside is what they're going to try to do.
I don't know. I think maybe Park Crossing may have thought that was a 15-yard penalty. They got their offense on the field pretty quick there. Kind of interesting here.
Yeah. 9:31 left in the 3rd. We're tied at 7 apiece. Dothan and Park Crossing. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network. So Park Crossing is in punt formation. It's 4th and 1. And not a very good punt.
He needs to pick up the ball.
Yeah, he was indecisive there.
Man.
That was Tucker Watkins. If he'd have picked it up, he could have got some yards.
Oh, that was a touchdown if he was able to pick it up and run. I think he was trying to figure out, okay, I don't need to touch this ball. A lot of times when you're punting the ball, it's get out of the way, don't let the ball touch you, But in that case, when all you got is green in front of you, Mitt, you pick up the ball and run as fast as you can to your house.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so we're 1st and 10 for Dothan at the Park Crossing 45-yard line. 9:19 left in the 3rd. We're tied at 7 apiece. And they try to go up the middle again, and nothing there for Thomas. And there hasn't been anything there all night.
Yeah, it looks like we kind of went back to the conventional offense that we started the game with. And, I was talking about it. We did really well there at the end of the half with the Wildcat offense with that was Raymond Blackman that was doing that. And now we've got number 8 here, Javier Jackson, our starting quarterback, back in the game.
And he sacked Black at the 50-yard line, a loss of 5. And that hasn't worked all night for them.
No, it hasn't. A lot of it does come, back to the offensive line there. They're having a tough time, especially with the right side of that offensive line. It's having a really tough time, and it's not really letting Javier Jackson have any time whatsoever to do anything with the ball. whether it be run or pass.
So Thomas is in the backfield with Jackson. Jackson drops back and overthrows his receiver. He was intended for Hornsby.
Yeah, a little overthrown there by Javier Jackson. Looked like he had Dury maybe open in the flat back there, closer to the 30-yard line, but wasn't able to see him. And it's kind of tough here for Dothan. Again, you come out with a great field position, ready to capitalize, and unfortunate for the offense, wasn't able to get anything going there.
4th and 15. The punter is doing much better this half.
Oh, yeah, and took a great Dothan bounce right there. I think actually he could have let that ball roll even more than he did, but you want to make sure that it doesn't go into the end zone. So great job by the punter there. He's had kind of a rough first half with a couple of punts that didn't really go very far at all. But this time he kind of redeems himself with a great punt.
Yes, he's done a lot better his last few punts. That's Adam Watford. And he's done much better. I think the butterflies are gone.
The butterflies are gone, and another thing that you have to think about is Park Crossing is kind of watching themselves and not putting as much pressure on the punter because of the roughing the kicker penalty that we saw earlier in this game.
So Park Crossing would be starting on their own 4-yard line.
This is a great opportunity for the defense to capitalize with the field position that Park Crossing is in. The quarterback is in the back of his own end zone.
Whoa, we had a lot of motion there. Whoa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, looked like the offensive line jumped early.
Yeah, the offensive line did jump a little early there. Looks like we're going to get 5 yards on that and back them up even more into their end zone. But let's just say if they don't throw that penalty, we may have seen a safety.
Yes.
They were quick in that backfield again, that defense was. Number 2, man, we've talked about him again all night. Number 2, Zay Henry, man, great pursuit.
So the ball's at, it moved them back half the distance to the goal line, and not anything there.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Park Crossing, you're just wanting to get the ball out of the end zone at this point so that you do not get a safety. That is not what you would need here, being tied 7-7. Given Dothan 2 points would be devastating for Park Crossing here.
So nothing. Boy, I'll tell you what, they're stacking that line.
They are. Looks like they're continuing to do a little bit of a quarterback sneak every time just to make sure that they don't, one, lose the ball or do anything silly down here. This is a very dangerous part of the field if you're Park Crossing, and Dothan just needs to make sure that they stop them here and able to get good field position for their offense.
3rd and 12 for Park Crossing. 6:45 left in the third. We're tied at 7 apiece between the Dothan Wolves and the Park Crossing Thunderbirds. This is a big 3rd down play for Dothan. And we have a flag.
Yeah, man, that's going to be another false start there. And they continue just to do a little quarterback sneak because they don't seem to trust their offense at this point down here where they're at. So
they're on the 2-yard line, so half the distance to the goal will take them back to the 1-yard line. Now this is an opportunity for Dothan, but one thing they got to make sure not to let anybody get behind them for a pass. No. So the safety's got to back up a little bit.
It looks like it maybe 4th down, so the punt team
it is 4th down.
Is coming in. So
yeah, it is 4th down.
I'm not sure.
Park Crossing calls timeout. So with 6:16 left in the third, we're tied at 7 apiece. And I want to remind you about our YouTube channel. Tell us about it.
Yeah, the YouTube channel for Scenic Sports. You go to youtube.com and type in the search menu,
Scenic Sports
Network. Scenic Sports Network, and you can go in and you can see tons of material that we have of everybody that you could think of here local in the area. Big time Dothan High, Northview games, old games, new games. You can get a little bit of everything. It doesn't have to be football, baseball, basketball, volleyball.
Well, we don't have any
no
volleyball yet.
Okay,
yeah,
no
we
volleyball.
have football, basketball, and some baseball. We even have
some
a
baseball.
Miracle League game on there.
That's right. Yep, you were telling me that. That's awesome. So you should go out and check that out. That's a incredible way to check out our local sports in the area.
And make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you subscribe, and then you will be notified of any new content put on our YouTube page. So it's 4th down, and they're going to be kicking from the back, punting from the back of the end zone. Hornsby is back for Dothan. And he gets a decent punt out to the 36-yard line. About a 36-yard punt.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Park Crossing, that's the only thing really they could ask for was a good punt there, and they got exactly what they asked for.
So Dothan will be starting in good field position on the Park Crossing side of the field again, on the Park Crossing 36-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, they've had great field position every time they've had the ball on offense this half, and they've got to capitalize here.
Capitalize. That's the key word, capitalize. They need to mix it up this time and not try to run the ball down the middle of these little quick outs. They need to do some direct snaps. They've had success with that.
Yeah, and also, we talked about a little bit, they're doing a lot with the short pass routes, and we're not seeing a lot of the medium throws. If you're looking at home, if you think about it as a zone, so you've got your short zones, you've got your medium zones, which are your 15-yard passes, your 15 to 20-yard passes, and then you've got your airmail, which is your 30, 40-yard passes, and we're not seeing those last two. We're not seeing the medium. We've seen two throws that have been really good throws. I mean, I really think that you've got to give your quarterback a chance to throw those balls. But, yeah, we really need to see that medium. I haven't seen the medium, the 15 to 20-yard routes that have been able to connect on at least.
Right. You're exactly right. I'm not sure how many passes they've completed, if they've completed any. I can't remember.
If I can recall, maybe completed 2 or 3, and if they've completed them, it's going to be those short routes, the slants and screen passes.
I think they need to go down the field. Nowhere. They tried to go outside. That was number 5, Peterson, but nothing there. As a matter of fact, he loses a yard. I think Dothan needs to stretch the field out a little bit. Even if it's not complete, stretch it. Challenge them.
Yeah, they stretched it out there with a little bit of a pitch and stretched it out to the right. And, and they've tried in the inside. They've tried the dive in the inside. They've now tried the stretch. You just got to keep working it. But if you see here, look, we've got a little wildcat formation. This is what worked in the
Blackman. He gets to the outside, and he cuts the run. He spins. He picks up about 4 yards or so.
So this is the exact wildcat formation that we saw right before the half, and this is exactly what I wanted to see us come out in here in the second half, because really Park Crossing hasn't shown that they can stop this style of offense. And so you've got to continue doing it until they stop it.
Stop it, yeah. So a gain of 3, so it brings up 3rd and 7, and nothing there. You go for it on 4th down here. You deep in your own territory.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think you do go for it here. Now that was that exact play was very similar to the play where he scored on. It looked like a little wildcat also just being able to hand that off to Dury, and that's what he scored on. And so give props to Park Crossing, understanding what they were lined up in, what formation they were in, and understood that Dury was going to get the ball and stopped him.
Thomas and Jackson in the backfield. Jackson takes a snap, and he keeps it, and he cuts across, and he gets the first down.
Yeah, Matt, that took a long time to develop there. I wasn't sure exactly what was. It looked like it was kind of a broken play at first, but it looked like maybe a kind of a play action and then a quarterback draw all in one. So great play call by Dothan there.
4th and 7, and Dothan gets the first down. And I think we're going to have an offside. Let's see. Can you see the lineman? We need to call the lineman's names out tonight. What you looking for?
It's 58 for Park Crossing. Was the guy that's.
Here.
You can tell it's our first game here with the lineups.
So it's a 1st and 5 for the Wolves. And nothing there. They tried. They was trying to say it was fumble, but I don't think it was.
I think
Second
he may
down.
have been down there, Mitt. But I did find exactly who that was. We do need to talk about the line because we talk about all those guys, all the other guys, all the athletes, and they're athletes too. Austin Dunn was the guy that kind of jumped there, but.
So 2nd and 5. Jackson takes off and runs, and he picks up a couple of yards. He turned what could have been a loss into some positive yards. So it brings up a 3rd and about 4. We have a player down for Park Crossing. Looks like number 14, who is Ethan Turner. So we'll have timeout on the field with 14 left in the 3rd, and we're tied at 7 apiece. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Your number one source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
It's 3rd and they're going to say 3rd and 3 for the Wolves. Wow. Jury dropped in the backfield, so it's 4th down. I tell you, it just hadn't been working.
Great play by Matthew Petway there for Park Crossing to be able to get the Dothan Wolf running back down on the ground there.
This will be a 36-yard attempt.
The first field goal that we've been able to see from the Wolves. The point attempts have been really good. So
William McCarthy up, and it's good. Oh, they waved it off. It looked like it went through, but they waved it off. It looked like it was good to me.
Yeah, I think it may have skirted a little bit to the left there, but had tons of legs. So that's definitely something that we can see moving forward through the season or through this game. Is our kicker can kick from a pretty far distance.
So Park Crossing will be starting on their own 20-yard line.
Also something to think about there is the snap was just a little bit off, and the holder was having a hard time, and so that really throws off the timing for your field goal kicker.
Wow.
Man.
That was a good tackle that time coming
There
from
he goes.
Zay Henry
again.
The Southern Mississippi commit.
He's
quick.
Blasting through those gaps and those holes quick, and you hate to see this, but he may be a little something's happening. Maybe an arm or something there.
So that was a loss of about 5. So it brings up a 2nd and 15. We're down to 2:41 left in the third. No score in the third quarter. Pass is complete. It's not going anywhere. Good coverage that time by the Wolves. In on that stop was number 5, James Dowdy. So it brings up a third and about 15. Just under 2 minutes left in the third. And that time, not much there.
Good job by the Dothan defense there, you know, containing the inside, not letting them get to the outside, cut to the outside, and forcing a 4th down again for the Park Crossing offense, and now another punt. We've been punting a lot tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, the punters have gotten to work out tonight. Back deep for Dothan is Braxton Hornsby. And
another decent punt.
Right, out to the 50.
It's going to be the worst field position that we've had this half.
Yeah, but it's a short field. Very short field, 50 yards. So I think we need to come out this first play and go down the field. Throw it down the field.
I'd like to see a play action down the field also.
Yes,
You've been running the ball. It hasn't been working. But at least you've kept the defense honest. And that's what you have to do with the play actions. Keep that defense honest. And let's see if we can catch them off guard here.
Okay, also in the right field is Fluellen with Jackson. And it's complete over to number 87. That's the tight end. That is Braxton Morris. And we have a Thunderbird down.
14.
And that was a gain of about 3, maybe 4. We're going to say it's 2nd and 6.
Yeah, Matt, we're seeing a little bit of cramping issues. I think the last one may have been a cramping issue, the last injury we saw, and it looks like we may have a little bit of cramping issues here. One thing to mention is, you know, this is our, second game of the season for these athletes. They've been practicing really hard all summer. But it's just different when you come out here and under these amazing, beautiful lights, that these new lights, and you get out here under the lights and you play a little bit harder than maybe you did in practice, and you get your body going, and so it's a little different when you're out here on the playing field.
Yeah, we have a pretty good crowd on hand tonight for the opening game of the Dothan Wolves, and we'll talk about some of the upgrades here at the stadium that are taking place. New lighting here. They're doing some landscaping, redoing the parking lot, and they're going to install an electronic scoreboard.
Yeah, video board. Looking forward to that. I'm hearing maybe October, so maybe by the end of the season we'll be able to see some, that video board. But man, it's just really nice after so many years of not really seeing much, renovations or upgrades from the stadium, and to see it come to fruition. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, and our hats off to Mayor Mark Saliba and City Manager Kevin Copper and the city commissioners for having a vision and putting the resources behind it to make these improvements at the stadium, which was, I think this stadium was built in 1964 or something like that. But
it's seen a lot of football.
A lot of football. And one of the things I remember, one of the most memorable things here, I came to see Billy Graham here when I was a child.
Wow.
Here at the stadium, and it flooded. It flooded. So what they wound up doing is having him under the home side bleachers.
Huh.
Yes.
All right.
Under the bleachers on the home side. So I was
That
a small kid when he came, but I remember it so vividly.
That's a neat experience.
So it'll be 2nd and 6. And a sack. Wow. I tell you, Park Crossing has some speed on the line. Dothan is going in the wrong direction. They're not. The offensive line's got to do a better job of protecting it.
Yeah, ball came out there at the end, but they're saying that he was down, thankfully, for Dothan there.
3rd and 11. There's another sack going into game for Dothan. Back in is number 2, Jury. And in the backfield is Braxton Flewellen. Man in motion.
Just got the snap off.
And that, they read that one all the way. That was going nowhere.
Yeah, they knew exactly where the ball was going. Just a swing screen looks like. And, man, we've seen that a couple of times tonight, and it has not worked.
Not at all. It sure hasn't. So Dothan stalls again. And they had great starting field position. The Park Crossing 49, and they're going to end up on the Dothan side of the field back at about the 43. So they'll have to punt. So we've come to the end of 3, and the score is Dothan 7 and Park Crossing 7. We'll be back with the 4th quarter of action after this timeout. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Lewis Smith Supply is dedicated to offering a vast collection of fixtures, faucets, and accessories for your kitchen and bath. Make your dreams a reality. Step into the area's only Kohler Premier showroom or see Delta's Brizo collection for the latest trends in kitchen and bathroom designs. Lewis Smith Supply offers an extensive line of plumbing supplies for contractors or do-it-yourselfers. For more inspiration, come visit one of our showrooms in Dothan or Enterprise.
Your number one source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
4th quarter of action. We're tied at 7 apiece. Dothan and Park Crossing. A high snap, and he was able to get the punt off, but not very far. He didn't have much time. So,
yeah, man, just the fact that he was able to grab that ball out of the air, the snap was just way too high. Just the fact that he was able to get the ball out of the air and on his foot was impressive.
So Park Crossing will be starting on the 45-yard of Dothan.
There's a flag on the field.
And there's a flag on it. They wave it off. So it will be 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line of the Wolves. Of Park Crossing, excuse me. A big hit that time, number 5.
Yeah, James Dowdy on the tackle there. Man, he shot through that line pretty quick there. I think there's one greatest common denominator with the Dothan defense, and that's either speed or quick.
So it brings up a 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10 for the Thunderbirds. Wow. His own man slowed him down that time.
Yeah, and it's a good thing he did because he had a lot of room to run there if he was able to get by his own man.
That was that was Cedric Tell, so it brings up a 3rd and 4 for the Thunderbirds.
This is a big 3rd and 4 for defense here. You kind of see the game kind of going back and forth here, but you get the thought that maybe that this is the momentum breaker here.
Yes. I tell you what, Park Crossing has a big offensive line. They have some beef.
Yeah, a little bit of meat there. Oh, yes, nice play.
And they give up a 1st down. They had him in the backfield and gave up a 1st down. Cedric Tell with some really good running, and he made that play.
He just took a couple of Wolves with him. Great play by the Wolves for getting there. I mean, the pursuit to him, but you got to finish it. You got to finish him off, and wasn't able to finish the play. And now you've given Park Crossing a 1st down. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, we're down to under 10 minutes left in the 4th. Now I'm saying whoever scores is probably going to win this game. And a good run again.
We got a flag on the far field there. It looked like to me that we had a little bit of, we may have been offsides, but we'll see what the flag is. Or it may have just fallen out of his pocket.
Oh, it's against Park Crossing.
Okay.
Okay, that will back them up.
That's backing them up a good bit there.
Right.
That was a big penalty for Dothan because things weren't looking too hot for our defense there. Park Crossing's offense was starting to get going. And
yeah, Dothan defense has been out there all night. It's going to be 1st and 15. Almost intercepted.
Man.
Wow. We needed that one.
Man, if he would have been able to find that in the air, I think he's still running.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
So
Great play by Dothan again, though, to be able to find that ball and get your hands on it.
2nd and 15. The Park Crossing. Offensively, both teams have struggled. Neither team has been able to put together any kind of sustained drive. Boy, the defense is getting tired now. 1st down. Tail is starting to get loose.
Yeah, Park Crossing's offensive line is starting to open up some holes for this running back, which number 2 looks looks to be in some pain. But, man, he's been running hard this 4th quarter.
Yes, he has. So that's the 1st down, and Park Crossing is deep in the Dothan territory. They're inside the 30.
And just like you had talked about, the Dothan defense has been on the field almost the whole entire game, and it's starting to show a little bit. You've got some hands on the hips and hands on the knees, and I'd be having my hands on my knees if I was out there that long for sure.
So it's a 1st and 10 from the 27. A big hit that time. Again from Dowdy. He's had a good game.
He has. Yeah, he's picked it up here in the 4th quarter. You know, we've talked about Zay Henry a lot being an animal out there, but James Dowdy has really picked it up in this 4th quarter. playing from that middle linebacker position. It looks like kind of the quarterback of the defense from what it seems.
2nd and 10. I think Dothan's offside. Yeah, they point all they want to, but they're offside.
I do believe it is going to be on Park Crossing.
Yeah, I think so. Well, good.
They were. They definitely got him to jump there because the defense was trying to antagonize them.
Evidently, it worked.
Oh.
So it's a 2nd and 15. Clock's running.
Brings up 2nd down and 15.
I tell you, whoever scores next will win this game, I believe, unless.
With the way that it's going, man, I think you're right. See a little wildcat of their own here.
A good hit, but so it brings up a 3rd down.
We do have a flag on the play. Looks like in the era of holding, though, on Park Crossing.
Holding, yeah, good. Good. So that will move them back. That's why he was able to get so many yards.
That's right, and that was a big hit. I don't know if you saw it down
yes,
the
I
sideline.
saw it.
I was a little scared on that hit. It was a little too good, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're watching football and it's like, uh-oh, that was too good of a hit.
Yeah, but it was shoulder to shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got to be careful with that, you know. We got to make sure we bring it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Nope, got holding. So it looks like there was 2 penalties on the play on Park Crossing, holding and false start. So we'll take the 10 yards, not the 5.
Yeah, right. We'll take 10. 8:05 left.
Man, it looks like 2nd and Slocum, Mitt.
So it's 2nd and very long. And in on that tackle was number 6. I believe was a 6. I can't see his number. I'm sure it's kind of
This 6.
6, okay. 6 is Ty Martin.
Yeah, good tackle by Ty there. All right, defense, this is 3rd and 22. You've got to, make sure that nobody gets behind you like you had talked about before.
Incomplete. And a flag over on the far side.
This drive there's been a lot of yellow laundry on this drive.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's been on Park Crossing and not on Dothan as much, but we'll see what this flag is.
Yeah.
Another
it's on
false
Park
start.
Crossing again.
So
they're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think you decline this call and bring on the punt unit. Hopefully you stop the Park Crossing offense, at least for now.
Yeah. I guess they're going to go for it. Well, maybe they're figuring they won't.
They're going to call a timeout.
They may figure that they won't get the ball back if they don't, but Dothan has been going 3 and out.
This may be the turning point of the game here. If they were to go for it on 4th and 23 on the 40-yard line, that seems to be a little dangerous. In my opinion.
I think I wouldn't go for it. I would just play because defensively they stopped Dothan, so why risk it?
Defensively, they have been able to stop Dothan on whatever they have done, except for maybe that wildcat offensive style of play. If I'm down there, I am punting this ball and seeing if we can pin Dothan back, in their own end zone, and see what happens. But I'm not the coach, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's 7:05 left in the fourth. And I think they're coming out and going to punt.
I think that's a smart call on Park Crossing's part there. Now we've got.
Let's see, back for Dothan is number 9, Hornsby, and number 7, Lee. Well, it's just Hornsby back there. I thought I saw Lee back there. But I look for a fake, but that's a lot of yards to get for a fake. Do not rough the kicker under any circumstances.
Yeah, at this point you need to be in a prevent punt defense. Hold on to the ball. Ooh.
So Park Crossing has to punt.
Uh-oh. A little extracurricular out there, Mitt.
Well, just back off, Dothan. Back off, Dothan.
Get back to your sideline.
Yeah,
come on, Dothan. You don't need this. Whew. All you'd need right there is a 15-yard penalty, and now you're back at the 5-yard line.
Right.
Thankfully, we were able to clear the pile there and get back to our sideline before anything happened.
So Dothan start on.
Oh, I say that. Now there is a penalty. Mitt.
Okay, we'll see what's going on here. You have to maintain your cool in a situation like that.
Man, with a 7-7 game, 7:04 left. It looks like it may be on Park Crossing. They're going to walk this ball toward our end zone, Mitt.
Yeah.
It looks like 15, too. It's continuing to walk.
So Dothan was starting on their own 30 instead of their own 15. I'll tell you what, I'll go for a long pass on first down.
Okay, here we go.
Good run that time by Thomas. Octavius Thomas picks up the first down. That's probably one of the first down Dothan has gotten.
And that's probably one of the best runs we've seen other than the Dury run there at the end of the half. But that was a great run by.
Oh, you like the parking lot light.
Oh, look at there. We got a red parking lot out there.
And we got another Park Crossing player down. But, yeah, Terry, if you can swing over to the right and show us the new lights in the parking lot. They have new lights in the parking lot. So the lights are in Dothan Wolves color. So, I mean, they just colorize the whole facility here.
Cover us in red and white, you know. We were talking about Billy Graham earlier, and here we are covered in red and white.
Okay. So we have timeout on the field with 6:56 left in the fourth. We're tied at 7 apiece. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network. Okay, we're back in action with 6:56 left in the fourth. Dothan has the ball 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line. We've got. I think we just need to throw one long here, just to back them up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're still really stacking the box, and you're not going to be able to run in the middle with stacking the box like that. All right, you got to be really careful there.
Yeah, see, I saw him.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, he tried to flip
maybe
and do
the
it.
ref didn't see it, but you know what, man? When you make those types of silly plays like that, you know what? You need to be there needs to be consequences to it, because.
But you hurt your team. You hurt your team and your teammates.
There's no, and the ref is talking about it. He kicked him, like while he was down, he kicked him.
Yeah,
and so you just can't do that.
It's 15 yards. Now you're up near midfield. Now they're gonna back you up deep in your own territory.
You just can't do that. It was so silly,
senseless,
so silly, and selfish.
Yes.
Because now your team.
Instead of being near midfield, now you back inside the 30.
I will tell you, Mitt, you know, this is some of the same stuff that we saw last year. Some of these silly penalties right here at the end of the game that can blow it for you.
So it's it'll be 1st and 25
First down and 23.
23, first and 23.
Well, you said we needed
it's second down.
you said we needed to air it out, so this is the time to do it if you're going to do it. Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Looks like tons of flags there.
Yeah.
You're going to have a little bit of defensive pass interference, and hit him with a double move. I don't know if you saw that. You know, we don't see a lot of that in high school, but a double move for you out there that don't understand that is the quarterback was had a throw to the wide receiver, and the receiver looked back, and the quarterback faked the throw to him, and then the receiver went out for the pass. Later on down the field. Great throw by.
Yeah, it would have been completed if he hadn't been interfered with.
Yes, that was a great throw by Javier Jackson.
So that should be an automatic. It's not automatic first down? Yeah, it's automatic first down.
That's going to give us an automatic first down. That's what we needed. My goodness,
Yeah, so-
second and 25.
So we're back where we started from.
That's right.
So, well, it's a second down.
No, I don't think so. So they're not going to get.
I thought it was automatic first down for pass interference.
Oh goodness.
Whew.
Definitely.
A flag over to the far side of the field.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to go on to the Wolves there for all.
It is.
False start.
Well, they keep shooting themselves in the foot.
I'm a little shocked that wasn't an automatic first down. We're going to have to get some clarification on that, because I definitely thought that the pass interference was an automatic first down.
So did I. Second and about 13. We're down to 6:33 left in the fourth. I'd go long again.
Oh, man, big hole.
Whoa, what a run.
Man.
That time.
Octavius Thomas, again, he is coming out here in the fourth quarter and showing up and showing out.
And that's what Dothan needs. They haven't been able to do that all night. And Park Crossing defense is probably getting tired too, because they've been on the field all night.
That's exactly right. They are, and you're seeing that.
I'd go long. I'd get them off that line. They're trying to get them here.
Yeah, something to think about here. Number 2, Teller for Park Crossing is a little gimpy, and when you've got a cornerback that is.
Whoa! He breaks the tackle. Great run that
when
time.
you've got a cornerback that's gimpy like that, why don't you hit number 9? You've got to exploit that
Second
matchup.
and 5.
You've got to exploit that matchup if you're Dothan.
And they're going to the same thing every time, so it's going to bring up third and short, but this is 4-down territory.
Braxton Hornsby will be wide open if they are just able to connect.
Third and 4. The ball inside at 35 at about the 34-yard line. High snap. Oh, should be enough for a first down. Boy, I tell you what, Thomas is starting to warm up.
That's right, he is. He's heating up there, and Dothan's seeing something that they like right there off the right guard of the Dothan offensive line. So, we talked about them having kind of a rough first half, and they're really kind of heating up here in this fourth quarter with 4:54 left.
Give it to him again, and he moves forward for a few yards. So Thomas is moving. Jackson is the quarterback.
A little bit of a hurry-up offense here.
And give it to him again, and he eases through, and he's going to be close to a first down. He needed to get to the 20. I think he's going to be a couple of yards short. So it brings up a 3rd down, and into the game is Peterson.
Had to take out Octavius Thomas to give him a break. He ran the ball at least 6 or 7 times by himself.
I think his knee may have been down before he made the 1st down. So
This is a big 4th down with 3:55 left to go. What do you do here?
you go for it. You don't need any long, drawn-out play. You need to hit and hit quick.
You've got a field goal kicker that can kick the field goal net.
Yeah, but Dothan calls timeout. So with
Showing up and showing out.
Your #1 source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
So it's 4th and 1. This is a huge play. Dothan's got to have this 1st down.
A little bit of a wildcat formation.
1st down, and
Oh,
he
gosh.
goes inside.
Man.
That
What a
was
great
a Blackman
run.
by Raymond Blackman.
And then we saw again the wildcat formation that time, and he is getting up and he's saying, let's run another play. Let's just do the same exact play that we did before.
And another crossing player is down. I think it's just taking a toll on them defensively.
It
being out on the
absolutely
field,
has, yes.
field so long, and with this temperature as high as it is. Yeah, and while we have a timeout, I want to remind you once again before we go about our YouTube channel. Go to Scenic Sports Network. That's SCENIC Sports Network on YouTube. And just put it in the search bar, and it will take you to a wonderland of high school football games over the past 20 years. There are games from Dothan. There are games, you'll see Carroll High. You'll see Wicksburg. You'll see games from Eufaula. You'll see games from Dale County, Daleville, Houston Academy, Providence,
Enterprise.
Northside Methodist, Enterprise, New Brockton, Dale County, Ashford, Cottonwood, who else? Abbeville, Headland. You'll see games that
From all over the wiregrass.
All over the wiregrass.
And then more.
Yeah, and more. And so you even see the in basketball and football, and you'll even see Dothan High's last time they went to the Final Four. You'll see them with the we have games of the sub-region championship, then the region championship, and the semifinals of the game, where Dothan wins over Austin of Decatur. So go to our YouTube channel, and there's a lot in store for you. And remember, please subscribe, and hit the notification button. So we're down to 3:22, 1st and goal for the Wolves. And in the backfield is Blackman and Dury.
Let's see if Dury can go with get another touchdown here for his 2nd touchdown of the night.
They give it to Dury. He takes it in for the touchdown.
Called it. Maybe it's my turn this year.
Hey, the luckiest thing.
Well, what an amazing play by Dothan there with 2 minutes and 54 seconds left in the game. What a great play there. Play call still went with the Wildcat formation like we had talked about. That has been their bread and butter this half. And now we see this great light show in front of us. How cool is this? May want to turn the lights on for the kicker to see.
There we go. Lights.
Camera and action.
And the extra point is good.
All right.
So Dothan takes a 14-7 lead with 2:54 left in the 4th. So Dothan scores with 2:54 left in the 4th. They're up 14-7, and they're kicking off to Park Crossing. Still a lot of time left in this game. A lot could happen, but I hope it doesn't. So Park Crossing takes it on the 10 and brings it out to the 30.
Uh-oh, can't make any silly penalties. Jill, get out of there.
Get your butt on
Get
back up
over on the sideline. Man, I wish they could hear us, man. You know,
Well,
we're
maybe
screaming
we need
at
to
them like.
put earphones in the ears.
Maybe you should take that piece of paper and just write up here, you know, and put it on the window here so they can. Man.
So Park Crossing starts on their own 30-yard line. That was a 20-yard return.
All right, well, you know, the game has been on the defense all game long, and it has come down to this one stop, and we win this game.
So they've changed up. They're doing a direct snap. Quick out. Oh, I think the ball hit the
Yeah, I would.
a flag over here on the near side. And there's a flag on the far side. So there were two flags thrown.
Got bookend flags over here.
So it's going to be against Park Crossing that will back them up 5 yards.
Park Crossing's had a hard time in this fourth quarter of just getting the playoff. You know, we've seen a lot of false starts from them, and give the defense for Dothan credit there to getting them to kind of get started a little quicker than they wanted to.
Lee is taking the snap. He keeps it. And he goes out of bounds at the 30.
Yeah, Lee is our third quarterback that we've seen from Park Crossing. He's got some speed there, a little smaller than the other quarterbacks that we've seen from Park Crossing tonight.
He's actually a running back, and they brought back in number 20, who's Stewart, and he was pretty effective in the first half. That play goes nowhere. Hit. Let's see who was in on that hit. Number 11 and number 25 for Dothan.
And Quentin Norton, number 4, also lit him up there. Great pursuit by the defense there.
There was Jason Thomas and Connor Cook. And it was Norton on there?
Yeah, Quentin Norton, number 4 also.
Okay. So it's a third and about 14. Third and 14 for the Thunderbirds. We're down to under 2 minutes. We're down to a minute and 55 seconds. They go deep. Intercepted.
And intercepted by Dothan.
By Norton.
Quentin Norton continuing. Whew. Man, what a great play by Quentin Norton.
That brought the crowd to their feet.
That's right. Park Crossing kind of just threw up a prayer there, right there at the end of the play. And Quentin Norton did a great job of looking back for the ball. You know, you have to teach the defensive backs to do that. Sometimes they'll run down the field and they won't look back for the ball. But he looked back for the ball. And if you can't see down here, Mitt, look, they got a looks like a wrestling belt. They're going to give, you know, the new thing is
down there, Terry. If you go down to the left side toward the scoreboard, one of the players has a belt. Norton gets the belt. You know, the interception. You see it? Okay, yeah.
The new thing is, you know, the turnover chain or the turnover belt and things like that. So that's exciting for those players. I know they love to you love to see that.
So we're down to a minute 38, and Dothan has the ball, and they can pretty much run the clock out. Yeah, a minute 38, 25.
Yeah, with Park Crossing with no timeouts left, 138. You got to think that we can just kind of run it out here.
I tell you, we've got to work on some things before the next game.
We do have to work on some things. You know, the penalties definitely are one thing that stick out in my mind. We've got to get those cleaned up, and then
Yeah, we still have a player down.
we do have a player down on the field, and it looks like they're tending to him. But yeah, so the things that we need to work on are. I would give our defense, if I was to give a grade on our defense, I'd give our defense an A.
Yes.
I mean, they have forced turnovers. They've done their job on defense. They've been out there all night, and they're still giving it everything they've got. Offense, you're really going to have to work on offense this week. But, there's a lot that they can look at to improve on, but there's also some things that they can build on the offensive side of the ball. If you look at some of the throws by Javier Jackson, we've talked about it kind of all night. Haven't really been able to trust him to kind of throw the ball down the field. But his throws that he has been able to throw down the field, they've given him the opportunity. He's thrown them well. Now, has he connected on a lot of them? No.
Well, that's a good point. But in the game against Bob Jones, he was throwing them like that and hitting the receivers in stride. He had a couple of long touchdown passes like that. Dothan had a 60-plus yard reception for touchdown, and I think they had a 40-plus yard reception for a touchdown. So they haven't stretched the field out tonight. They had an interception early, which led to Park Crossing's only point, and they kind of like stepped back a little bit. But you got to open the game up and make it a little more wide open, and challenge the defense. You have to get them on their heels.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for a quarterback is having the tools, and you saying that he was able to do that in Montgomery this past week tells you he has the tools to do it. It's just the consistency. We want to see the consistency from the kid. We're talking about a high school athlete here, and so he's going to get better throughout the season, and so really excited to see kind of where this offense where we see them kind of go to. We've seen the traditional style of offense not work very well, but thankfully we're able to mix it up. We've got athletes on the field that can handle different formations, and so we've used the Wildcat a lot in this game, and I think you can build upon that and use that to then open up your traditional offense.
Right. Now, Dothan scored 42 points against Bob Jones. And they were very explosive offensively. We haven't seen that tonight. So I think they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and work on that. So Dothan's just going to run the clock out. So it brings up a second down. Second and 15. Yeah, so let's see, when they snap the ball, there will be, let's see, under a minute left.
So, Mick, going forward, who is the next opponent for the Dothan Wolves?
They will be traveling to Enterprise.
That's a big game for Dothan. That has become the rivalry game for Dothan, with Northview not being on the schedule anymore.
Yeah, and it used to be a rivalry for years. Northview and Enterprise and Dothan Enterprise.
Right.
And Enterprise played Bay High, and they put up 52 points on Bay. Now Bay wasn't a very good team. The very first play from scrimmage, they threw an interception.
Well, it sounds like that the defense is going to get a good challenge in Enterprise. The game is in Enterprise next week, and it's going to be interesting to see how this defense does against a highfalutin offense.
So it looks like Dothan's going to win this one tonight. Boy, they had to come back here late in the fourth quarter to pull this one out. And they won it 14-7 in the closing comments.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm out here watching the players dancing out here. They're having a good time. Watching these lights. Again, we talked about the renovations tonight. The really cool light show. That's probably one of the the big features of this game, and I've been told that around the city about you got to be up there Friday night to see the light show they're going to put on, because it's going to be amazing, and it has lived up to its hype, and so just excited that football's back. This is our first Friday night football here at Rip Hughes Stadium, and Dothan came out with a win. It wasn't necessarily an easy win, but sometimes you got to go through some tough wins to get to the end of the season and to get to some of those opponents that you're going to have to really put the hammer to the metal on.
Yeah, and one of the things about tonight's game, they held Park Crossing's offense scoreless. The only points came, on
the pick six right there on the 5-yard line. So
yeah. So I'm going to quickly recap the scoring before we get out of here. Park Crossing scored first. With a 30-yard pick six, and that was with 3:10 left in the first. So Park Crossing went up 7-0 over Dothan. Dothan scored their first points in the second quarter. It was a 10-yard TD run by Dury to make it, hold on. Okay, here we go. Dury scored on 31-yard TD run with 2:10 left in the second to make it 7-7. Dothan scored again with 2:54 left in the fourth on a 10-yard TD run by Drury to make it 14-7, and that's the final score. 14-7, Dothan wins it, and Park Crossing falls to 0-2, Dothan 1-0.
Yeah, not a lot of scoring in this game, obviously, Mitt, but you know what? This game, what it did for Dothan, what I can see what it did from Dothan is it's built character. This is their first true game of the season. They had the exhibition game last week, and it's just being able to gel together as a team, work together as a team. Yeah, we've seen saw some penalties there, but honestly, I saw some discipline tonight. I saw some discipline from Dothan, and that is very important moving forward, because you're going to have to look back to some of these games and some of these situations as these students do, and know, okay, I just need to go back to the sideline, and it was good to see that, and really excited about what the Wolves are going to do this season.
Yeah. Okay, that wraps it up. Dothan wins at 14-7 on behalf of my co-host tonight, Gavin Thomas, and our cameraman tonight, Mr. Terry Stovall. We welcome him aboard as one of our camera people for Scenic during this football season, and we want to thank Miss Carolyn Smith and Lewis Smith Supply for sponsoring these high school games for us. So y'all stop by and see Miss Carolyn and tell them you appreciate them sponsoring the games on TV and on our YouTube channel. This is Mick Kirkland on behalf of the rest of the gang saying good night, and thanks for watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Your #1 source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.